Philadelphia choosing to wear black to their Friday night funeral was more than fitting, as Jalen Hurts delivered his biggest stud of the season, all while Ben Johnson made sure Kevin Patullo looked completely in over his head. Yet despite Nick Sirianni again defending his play caller post-game, you have to hear what CJGJ said should be the end of Kevin Patullo. Plus, Vic Fangio had his worst night of the season, and what the path forward is for a team still technically atop of the NFC East. Thomas Mott, yikes, that was bad. This has been the Thomas Mott Show. I've honestly been trying to stay so positive for weeks now when it comes to Kevin Patullo and the Birds' offense in Philadelphia. Not just because I want it to be good, but because there have technically been games, and times at least, where it's shown some flashes. And yet, by now, I just gotta stop denying it. That Black Friday beatdown by the Bears was the nail in the coffin for Philadelphia's play caller. As side by side with one of the best offensive minds in the entire NFL, Kevin Patullo and the Birds' offense was outworked, outplayed, most importantly, outschemed. And while time was running out in the 2025 season, Nick Sirianni teeters on not just losing the division, but perhaps his status in the minds of everybody going forward. First, though, if there is a positive, we're going to give away the Jordan Spector Art Brandon Graham Super Bowl card at the end of today's video, so watch to the end to see if you won. Plus, how about winning this Jordan Spector Art Brian Dawkins piece on today's video if you drop a like, are subscribed, and why don't you go ahead and comment anything down below. The top commenter, whoever gets the most likes below in this video, is going to win this bad boy, so good luck. Now, I know what you're wondering right off the bat. Thomas, Saturday morning, are the Eagles finally going to make a change at offensive coordinator? And, well, as of right now, Saturday morning, the answer is no. That is if you believe Nick Sirianni post-game when he was asked if it's happening anytime soon.
Just to clarify what you said earlier about evaluating everything, so does that mean you are evaluating, like changing the play caller?
No, we're not changing the play caller. But we will evaluate everything.
Nick, man, I don't know what to say. How can you watch the Bear offense have nearly perfect play calling for every situation, drive after drive after drive, and then watch Kevin Patullo and the Birds offense flounder and fight uphill in the snow both ways for what, even 10 yards per drive? As of this morning, Philadelphia has the 28th best offense in the league at success rate. That currently ranks lower than both the New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants. In fact, right now, it's the lowest offensive success rate for any Eagles team through 13 weeks in the last 2 decades. And yet, when asked, I was hoping players would call for Kevin Patullo's job. They did not. They were all quick to point out in the locker room, it's execution, not play calling.
I don't think something big needs to change. The sky's falling outside the locker room. We understand that. But I have nothing but the utmost confidence in the men in this locker room, players and coaches included, and it's going to take all of us.
I said last meeting, like, we got the right people in this locker room to get it fixed, and I believe that.
I see it as how the flow of things have gone for us this year, and being practical about that. I can't turn the ball over. So that's the ultimate goal, is go out there and find a way to win, and that's been a direct correlation with success for us, being able to protect the ball. And so that really, really killed us.
And well, yes, you have to execute. Kevin Patullo is not causing false starts. Kevin Patullo is not missing passes from Jalen Hurts. We'll talk about him in a second. He was awful, but they are not getting put in positions to win football games or be successful on offense. They've had 13 weeks to do it. It's not happening. If you don't believe me, listen to CJ Gardner-Johnson, the now Bear safety, kind of tell you everything you need to know about the Eagles' predictability on offense post-game.
Hey, now, look at him. Go ahead. Was the offense too easy? Predictable? Speak your truth. Speak your truth. Oh, man. We got to go before we get in trouble.
Philadelphia is now 10 for 35 on third downs over their last 3 games, and they're averaging just 15.5 points per game over their last 4. And their 2 first downs in the first half on Friday night was tied for the fewest by any team all season. Philadelphia's last 11 possessions to end the Cowboy game to start the first half against the Bears ended with 8 total punts. If we were sitting here and it was week 3, or even like week 6 or 7, you could still argue, give them time, they're going to figure it out, new play caller, some new pieces sprinkled in, it's going to be okay. Kind of like last year, Tampa Bay game, they figured it out afterwards. It's week 13 now. Like this, it's taken too long to figure this out. They probably should have done this move many weeks ago, but at this point, they must make a move or else. Still, the good news is, despite what Nick Sirianni is saying, he is not going to be the end-all, be-all, or have the final call when it comes to actually getting rid of Kevin Patullo. Philadelphia is a top-down organization, and there are 2 alphas above Nick when it comes to making said final decisions. Howie Roseman and, of course, Jeffrey Lurie. And while it is too late, it 100% is too late. They should have done this weeks ago. We had the same offense for weeks and weeks and weeks. As of right now, the Birds are still atop the NFC East. We'll talk about that at the end of today's show. The path is right there. And so you got to make a change. You got to at least give it a shot, because if they keep going and doing what they've been doing for the next 6 games, they are probably going to make the playoffs, but they'll probably get absolutely murdered in the first round. Also, quickly, my sponsor Underdog has you covered for all your sports picks this season. And right now, if you're new to Underdog, use my promo code Mott to get $100 in bonus entries when you place your first 5, win or lose. And it's super simple. Here's how it works. Just pick higher or lower on 2 or more players' stats, and you're in the game, with a shot to win up to 5,000x your money. And I have my picks right here, ready to go for Sunday, keeping it simple. Let's go with Bijan Robinson. He's going to score a rushing or receiving touchdown higher than 0.5. Bryce Young, I think he's going to run a lot versus the LA Rams, higher than 8.5 rushing yards. And Josh Allen, he's a rushing touchdown machine, kind of like Jalen Hurts, higher than 0.5 rush or receiving touchdowns. Go for the tush push there, Josh Allen. Those are my picks this weekend. Oh, and the best part, you make your picks right now in most states, including Florida, California, and Texas. It really is that simple. Remember, it's code MOTT, M-O-T-T. Try out Underdog today. A lot of you guys have been trying to tell me in the comment section, it's 2023 all over again. And I've desperately tried to ignore all of that because I don't want it to feel like 2023 all over again. And yet, this home loss on Friday versus the Bears, it feels like the Cardinals loss at home in 2023. And you got to remember, that football team rode Brian Johnson all the way to the end before firing him. And of course, it resulted in a first-round drubbing behind the offensive woes in Tampa. And we're heading down that path right now. That's exactly what's going to happen unless Nick Sirianni swallows his pride and gets rid of a good friend of his. And that's part of the problem. He promoted from within. It didn't work. He's BFFs with Kevin Patullo. And at some point, he's got to look in the mirror and go, yeah, this ain't it. Still, I will say this for people going to the extreme of firing Nick Sirianni today, they're not firing Nick Sirianni. Like, unless they were to lose the next 6 straight games in complete, utter disgrace, I would be absolutely shocked if Nick Sirianni is let go. Not saying I want him to stay. I'm kind of indifferent right now, but still, Philadelphia just gave him a massive contract extension after winning the Super Bowl like 7 months ago. You may not like it right now because we're all upset, but I do not see him leaving. Kevin Patullo is likely scapegoat here, not Nick Sirianni. But let me be very clear. When it comes to Nick Sirianni, he's teetering down a very dangerous path. Like, he took over from a previous Super Bowl winning head coach in Philadelphia whose loyalties to his then offensive coordinator, Press Taylor, the offense stagnant and eventually was his undoing. And he better hope his players continue to play hard, because in the end, they were not doing that for Doug Peterson. They stopped doing that for Nick Sirianni. It could get ugly.
I see our guys playing with extreme effort. That's something that we talk about a lot. We look at a lot. We chart our loafs. And our guys, I know I've seen for the past, what are we on, 12 games or 11 games, extreme effort. So I'm never going to question that, because they've proven it to me over and over and over again how hard they play for each other. So I don't think at all it was an effort thing.
Now, of course, I'm putting the blame on Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. They're the coaches. You got to get these guys ready to play. But I said earlier, execution matters. And the Eagle players, they're not executing, and they're really not performing up to even their standard that they set, not before the Super Bowl, but even in 2023. This offense looks worse than Brian Johnson's. For example, that was easily Jalen Hurts' worst game as an Eagle. I mean, maybe not as an Eagle, but that was absolutely terrible. I can't remember when he's been that bad. I mean, the turnovers, obviously, were unlike him. We've come to know and love Jalen Hurts, this guy who protects the football. The interception was really bad. Of course, the fumble and the tush push, what are you going to do? Even worse, though, has got to be the misses. Jalen Hurts was way off in this game, and the throw to Smitty was one thing, completely off target here. Even worse, though, Jalen, just glance to your right a little bit. You'll see Dallas Goedert completely uncovered. Just lob it up, and it's a touchdown. No,
not a check. Was a 2 guys on 2 different pages, and that's a bit of the issues that we've kind of been having. We weren't detailed enough in that. I wasn't detailed enough in instructing him what to do as we prepared, and making myself clear on that. And so, I'm trying to find as many particulars as I can when it comes to the level of execution we have. And that's a group effort that has to be there.
Unlike Kevin Patullo, though, I've seen Jalen Hurts actually shine as a passer and a quarterback on this football team. I mean, statistically, right now through 13 weeks, he's better this year than he was at this point last season under a different play caller. I personally just don't feel like he's getting any help with these play calls. I mean, I think if you truly swapped quarterbacks on Friday night, the outcome would have been the exact same. Jalen Hurts, though, terrible last night. His worst game of the year. People DM me on Instagram saying, I'm not hard on Jalen Hurts. Let me be hard on him. He was awful. He's had a lot of bad quarters this season, but he's at least number 3 on my list of issues, and he's way down below the head coach and the play caller. Next on that list, though, is the fact that we're never going to be able to run the football as a team, it seems. Like, at least at times, at quarters, even in this game, they can throw the football here and there. When it comes to Saquon Barkley, his 13 carries for 56 yards actually felt like an improvement, which is exactly the issue for Saquon Barkley in the run game.
I know there's some that we all want back in the run game. Just from an overall execution standpoint, and I can't point to one thing and say this is what it is. Ultimately, we just got to take advantage of our opportunities when they are there.
As running the ball, just like you'll have a 5-yard run, have a negative run, have a penalty. I think that was more the thing. I don't think we didn't get things going because guys weren't playing hard or we were missing blocks or it was just little things like that. And I don't know the exact stat. I don't know how many carries I had, but I felt like the one drive, we popped 3 runs in a row. Obviously, we had a turnover, and then I think we only had one run, or I think a running back only had one run. Jalen might have scrambled a couple times after that, but we know when we get the run game going how effective this team can be. So that's where it felt a little weird for me. I don't think we were we couldn't establish the run game, not because obviously they played a great game, or it wasn't like we were, I was missing reads or the line wasn't blocking up front, just kind of how the game flows. And it was a weird game in that case.
What I don't understand for the life of me is Tank Bigsby got 0 carries on Friday night. What do you want me to say? Tank Bigsby is the best part of the rushing attack, at least statistically this season. Not anything about Saquon Barkley, even though he's struggling right now. But goodness gracious, can you give Tank Bigsby 1 carry? He's averaging 9 yards per carry. 1 carry? Can you give him 2? What about 3? 3 carries is all we're asking for Tank Bigsby, and they gave him 0. But it does seem like Philadelphia's only success going forward is going to come through the air, which means this run-first team that can't run the football anymore is going to be in major trouble. But hey, I guess at least they figured out A.J. Brown the past couple of games. They've gotten in the football, and it's not me being sarcastic. I'm not complaining. That's a good thing. But man, I wish it didn't come with the cost of basically everything else.
I think we executed. I know that's kind of sound redundant, but we just executed that drive, put it together.
I don't know, guys. Offensively, it's Sirianni, it's Patullo. It's also the penalties, more pre-snap. They got less than the 13 they had last week, but there were still false starts early on, drive killers early on, turnovers rear their ugly head. Jalen Hurts played bad. This is an offense in complete turmoil. And I don't know, is it just the offensive coordinator? When they have a good one last year, they win. When they have a bad one with Brian Johnson and the current one that they have, they're no good. I'm racking my brain. It makes no sense, but here we are. This is what the Eagle offense is. What the Eagle defense, though, really has not been is what we saw on Friday night. That was the worst Eagle defensive performance I have seen in who knows how long. And that was with Caleb Williams going very mediocre, 17 of 36 for 154 yards in that really nice interception. I mean, this was a positive here. If I can say one positive thing for Philadelphia, Jalix Hunt, tip drill, I loved it. And yet, the Bird defense still gave up 425 yards to, again, not a great offense in the Bears.
I don't know if deflating is the word because, we still are confident in ourselves and, didn't let that crush us or get us down in that sense, but it's definitely unacceptable. So, we're going to definitely, take that on the chin and kind of make improvements from there. Move on. Yeah, I mean, that's on us at the end of the day. When they're running the ball like that, they're going to have the clock's going to be winding. They're going to have, possession of the ball for a long time. So ultimately, we got to do better getting them off the field, getting turnovers, things of that nature.
I mean, our defensive front, the front 7, look like complete toilet paper. How in the world does a defensive line with Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips, Moro Jomo, and Jordan Davis give up 2 different 125-yard runners in the same night? DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, think about this, are the first pair of Bear running backs to both go over 100 yards rushing since 1985. Vic Fangio, however, I'm going to give him a pass, not because I thought they was fine on Friday night, but because this is not the defense that we've seen all season long. This feels like a fluke, whereas the offense has done this every single week. Again, the defense was terrible, and if they keep doing this, we are completely cooked, but I got to give him a little bit of a pass, right? Like, sure, Sidney Brown, he was terrible in coverage, no shocker there. Reed Blankenship also, I thought, had a pretty rough night. But the secondary as a whole, I thought they held up just fine. I mean, all things considered, Caleb Williams missed some throws that were open, but still, the fact that they were able to run the football that well, it's just something you cannot even fathom going into that game. This, though, feels like the defense has been holding back a dam for the offense, really carrying the football team for weeks now. And sadly, that pressure, that weight, that dam was bound to break. And what do you know? It did for Chicago on Friday night. Philadelphia really has 2 clear paths right now. Path A, make a big change on offense, fire Kevin Patullo or demote him. You don't have to fire him, you can demote him. try and switch things up, do things differently, and go for it, and try and just right the ship. Bad football teams coming up the next 6 weeks and figure things out. Option B, try to do the same thing you've been doing. I mean, it's simple. Do the same thing that you've been doing and see what happens, because I feel very confident this option is going to go nowhere. This option probably goes nowhere, but it at least has a chance to maybe go somewhere in. As we see, the NFC East is still there for the taking. If you win the NFC East, you at least host a home playoff game.
After 2 losses in a row, you got to realize everything we want is still in front of us. And the way we do that is by staying together. We got to address some things. We got to fix some things, obviously. Out there on the field, we're not playing up to our standard, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But the way we fix that is by coming together, blocking out the noise, and try to go out there and get a win.
We're on work extremely hard and work to get better and keep doing our jobs and getting better. And I mean, that's all we can worry about, looking inward and figuring out how we can get better.
Do you think the answers are there to find right now?
Yeah. We're 8-4. The sky's still above us. It's we win 4 and lose 2 and win 4 and lose 2. I mean, let's win the next 4. All right now.
As it stands, the scenario with the Dallas Cowboys, it's very simple. Dallas has to win out and the Eagles lose twice in order for the Cowboys to win the division. Which, I'll be honest, I don't see Dallas going undefeated, even though their next 6 games, not necessarily the scariest of opponents. It's possible, but the path for Philadelphia to win the division is still in their corner. They have the upper hand. They can just figure something out against the subpar teams the rest of the way. They technically can still win this thing. But unlike previous shows, the past, 12 weeks, I've ended the show by saying if they can just figure things out, if they can just beat this team, if they can just get the running game going, or maybe fix the offense a little bit, throw the ball to A.J. Brown, they'll be fine. This is the first show I'm going to say I don't have the confidence that they're going to do that. Do I hope that they do? 100%. So do you, even if you're commenting, super negative stuff down below. Don't blame you, but I don't have any confidence right now. And I don't know if it's just the fact that it's Chicago and you feel like the Bears are not supposed to be a good football team, even though they are, hats off to them, or if we just understand that this is 2023 all over again. Either way, there's not a lot of positivity today, tonight, whenever you're watching this, and I just don't know if it's going to get better. They at least must make a change, and that starts with Kevin Patullo. Now, of course, we'll keep covering it. Hope you guys keep watching the show, depending on what happens, because there's always storylines, and like I said, they can still make the playoffs, and you watching my show supports myself and my family, and so I appreciate that from you guys. But, of course, let's go ahead and get rid of and give away the Jordan Spector art Brandon Graham. This is probably one of the coolest pieces I've ever given away. If you want to order one of yourself, I have a link down below, discount code. But the winner, randomly selected, who commented BG in a previous show and was subscribed, was at Birds in the Burbs. So, Birds in the Burbs, down in my description box, send me an email, prove it's you, get your address. We'll send this bad boy out and send me a picture of you opening it up because I'm curious which card you got because still sealed. I don't know. There's 4 signed unique ones. Maybe one of these is it. We don't know, but thanks to Jordan Spector for giving us this. Plenty more giveaways happening, including his art piece, the Brian Dawkins one I showed you earlier. I'm Thomas Mott. I'm as lost for words as you guys are, but the show must go on, and now we wait for the Chargers. Mini bye week. Can they figure things out? Did they fire Kevin Patullo? We'll see. Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.